So one of the questions you might be asking yourself is, what's it like to use a Ps4 Pro with a 4K monitor as opposed to a 4K TV? There's a few things to consider like response time, input lag, issues around HDR and HDMI ports. Generally, there's no issues using a 4K monitor. The monitor I'm using here is an Asus RT280K and it's a 60Hz 27-inch flat screen 4K monitor. And this costs around £300, so it's about an average price for a 27-inch monitor. You can get some bigger, more expensive monitors that also support 4K. So let's consider the 4K and HDR and the picture quality. If we go to the settings menu, video output settings, then we've resolution, RGB and HDR. The first thing you need to consider if you are planning to use a 4K monitor with your Ps4 Pro is, does it support HDMI 2? Not all do, but most of them do, because without it you can't get a 60Hz refresh rate like you would if you were using it with a PC. So do check that your monitor supports HDMI 2, because if it doesn't, these two 2160 resolutions will be greyed out. So make sure you're using that. Any HDMI cable will work, but to get that 4K resolution out of the PS Pro into the monitor, you need a monitor to support HDMI 2. All being good, we can go down and select the 2160p RGB, so we've got full 4K with great colour. In the settings, put the RGB range to full also. Next, move on to the HDR. This is the main issue with using a 4K monitor rather than a 4K TV with the PS Pro. There are very few 4K monitors that support HDR on the market right now. So if you do own a 4K TV that supports HDR, you're best off using that with the PS Pro to take advantage of the HDR high dynamic range content, which gives you the bright lights, vivid colours, better contrast and shadows. It really does add a whole lot. The other thing you will notice is the sound quality. It's difficult to get good speakers and sound quality from a monitor. If you have it connected to your TV, you'll probably have a soundbar, and generally TV speakers are also better. If you have the 4K monitor connected to a PC, it's much easier to connect external sound or soundbars. So with monitors connected to the Ps4 Pro, it's a little bit more tricky. You could plug in a pair of headphones, but then you don't get the surround sound like on the PC. Or you could of course plug in a pair of earphones into the PS4 controller and you're ready to go. So there's really no reason you can't use your 4K monitor with a Ps4 Pro. It works absolutely fine. Just make sure you have HDMI 2 to get 4K at 60 frames per second. Make sure you plug in headphones or you've got a Bluetooth speaker it can connect to. But bear in mind, you can't get HDR on PC monitors, which is the biggest issue in my eyes.